It's time to craft. Let's go. This is it, guys. The last week of fall decor DIYs. So in our first DIY, we are going to take this pumpkin wreath form, clip the top portion of the metal rings of the pumpkin, and thread them with the beads of your choice, that which will go with your color palette. For me, I am using the raw wood raw beads that came from a garland that I bought last year from Walmart that was a part of a red and white sequence. And I am just gluing it, making sure that it touches the top outer ring. I did add some Loctite glue, which is a stronger adhesive glue, to the edge so that it will seal. And you will want to do the same. That way it will connect to the top or the outer portion of the pumpkin. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Joy Fuller, the Chief Crafter for the JoyfulDesignz brand, and I would like to welcome you to my channel. Welcome back to all my returning subscribers, and welcome to my new subscribers. I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. I'm feeling a little bit better. I did finally make my way to urgent care, and I just had to get some nasal sprays over the counter. Didn't need an antibiotic, and so we will just see how that goes. But nevertheless, I'm feeling better. Thank you all for your prayers. It really means a lot. Thank you to everyone who has supported my husband's channel thus far. He's new to this, so give him grace. And as you can see, I am taking and making sure that the top bead actually closes with the second bead from the top, if that makes sense. This is very pretty. You could leave it just like this, but I will be upgrading this a little bit. You'll see it as we keep going in the next couple clips. I did add to this. And once you get the hang of this, you can take these, remake them, and actually sell them. Sell them at a yard sale, sell them on your website, sell them on Etsy, sell them at a craft fair. And this is a great way to earn extra money during the holidays. How many of you are ready to start shopping for Christmas or decorating for Christmas? Or, you know, some people like Halloween. If you're a Halloween person, are you going to host any Halloween events? What are your plans for the next 3 months? As you can see here, I was just sitting here and I was actually chit-chatting with my daughter, the one that just turned 31 years old. And now I have this pretty cloth that I actually picked up from Walmart, and I am going to create a backing for my pumpkin wreath. And as you can see, I am now going in between the grooves where you see on the outer ring, and I am using some of that thin twine that you can purchase from the DollarTree and just wrapping it around each section of this pumpkin wreath. This is going to give it a little bit more of a rustic feel. I still have yet, guys, to decorate for fall. So I am going to put something up and it'll stay up for about 31 days and then it's down. And then now you see where I am burning the frays off the jute rope. Initially, I was going to use some ribbon, burlap ribbon at the top, but I decided against it. And now I'm just going to wrap it with some of that thin rope. I do have my finger protectors on there because this glue gun, it gets hot, and the way I'm wrapping this around the top of the stem, I can burn. And forgive me for going off camera. I was sort of out of frame, a lot out of frame. Forgive me, I'm sorry. And as you can see, I am just wrapping it and pushing it down into the shape of the pumpkin stem. I was trying to decide when creating these, when did I want to upload them? And so I decided to give you a larger DIY video tonight. And then on Thursday, it'll be a little lighter and probably showcase some of the items that I created for the fall season. So make sure you come back and check that out. I will link each of those videos in the description of the video that I will be uploading on Thursday. I don't know yet. You just have to come back and see. And as you can see, I'm taking some of that thinner jute rope that I purchased from DollarTree, and I am separating it so that I can finish wrapping the top portion of the pumpkin around the stem. I can't wait till you guys see it. It's so cute. It's cute. And you really want to be careful when you are using your heating gun and or your glue gun, especially a high temp glue gun. And now I am just burning the frays off of the stem, the rope around the stem, I should say. And now I'm getting ready to outline. And I really, you know what? I don't even know why I wasted my time doing this, guys, because I could not see it. I could not. I'm like, why didn't I use a pen? So then I just decided just to cut it and then just make it fit. And so what I'm going to do is just glue this cloth around the edges or the perimeter of this pumpkin wreath. And feel free to use any fabric that you want that will fit your home decor style. As for me, I had this in my cloth bin, so I just decided to use it. And besides, it was cute. A versatile piece. And again, I'm just going around the perimeter of this pumpkin using this cloth. And this is a good time to let you all know, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please make sure you click on the subscribe button and don't forget about the notification bell. That way YouTube will notify you each and every time I upload a video, or basically anything to my channel. But you got to make sure you turn on the notification bell and hit all. And now I'm just cutting around the stem, doing an outline. And look at that, it's getting cute. I had someone to purchase one of these for me last year or the year for last. And the one that I had, I actually included some smaller size pumpkins on the inside of it. It was so cute. And then I had one with the word harvest, and then one with thankful, grateful. Just to give you some ideas of some other things that you can do. Getting ready to make a messy bowl, and I am just cutting some strips off of this cloth. I could have used a larger ribbon, but I decided to use the smaller ribbon. And I'm just grabbing some of the smaller ones that I had nearby. I'm grabbing some of this mesh tubing. Just doing the X pattern. And now I'm getting some of that jute twine from the DollarTree, wrapping around the middle, tying a knot in the center of it. And now I'm getting ready to tie it to the neck or the stem of the pumpkin. And now I'm adding some of that pretty ribbon with the burlap with the little white thread or ivory thread in it. So cute. And it kind of curls up. And then I decided to add a button in the middle of this. Is that not cute, guys? I think it's cute. Look at it. And now, our DIY number 2, we're going to make a family pumpkin sign using this little, y'all, I cannot think, using this little grace sign. I am using some of that pumpkin paint by Apple Barrel, and I know I didn't have my gloves on, but I can promise you that none got on my hands, and I dried it really well. And again, welcome to my channel, guys. I pray that you all are having a blessed evening. And my intentions were to add some distressing on it, but this burnt umber paint was just it just wasn't thick enough, and the surface of the sign was too slick. So I decided to not do that and just go with a different option. And so I decided to use some of that same fabric that I used on the pumpkin decor, beaded pumpkin decor. And I am making this harder than necessary, but hey, ain't no way unless it's Joy way. And I am painting the word family. I am giving it a stained look. And I want to say this is burnt umber, but then again, the more I look at it, it looks more like the chocolate bar. But nevertheless, either chocolate bar or burnt umber, and both of these are a apple barrel paint. And now I'm just cutting the edges of this fabric off the actual table decor itself, so cutting it away from this sign piece. And then now I am getting a stem, which I cut from a branch out of my yard using my miter saw, and I'm adding some of that Loctite super glue to the stem. And now you see me adding some of this Spanish moss that I purchased from Carolina Pottery. You've been seeing me use this big old bag all fall season. And this is coming along, turning out to be a very cute piece. And now I'm adding some of those burnt orange maple leaves that you can purchase from the DollarTree. And now I'm making a shoestring bow. And now I'm just burning the frays off the bow. You all know that I like using the lighter to burn those frays. And now I'm just trimming down the bow a little bit, and look at that, that's cute. And now for our next DIY, we are going to create a beaded rope pumpkin using a wire pumpkin from the DollarTree, and we're just going to interwove this piece using this jute rope that you can purchase from the DollarTree, but feel free to use larger ribbon, that'll be cute. And you just want to make it like a basket weave almost, except I'm just not going to go down vertical. So you just want to just cross over, under on the whole inner rings. And then when you get to the outer rings, we are going to add beads in the same way that we did in the first DIY. And as you can see, I'm just fitting the extra rope on the inside grooves of the basket weave, I'm gonna call it, and gluing down where necessary. And I had a different idea for this one, and I may end up doing it on Thursday just to see if it looks the way I have it in my head. But yeah, you just want to just continue with this pattern. And this one, it's like a question mark, because I didn't have it as tight as I normally would. But nevertheless, it's gonna be cute. Yeah, that part, cute. I am loving these pumpkin wreaths, and as you can see, I have clipped the top of the outer ring, and if you're watching this, you're going to do it the same way as you did in the first DIY. And you see I have added a topper to the top portion of the wire that was still hanging from the top and glued it down. And now I have another bead that I glued to the top and added one in the glue in the middle and brought those together. And what you do on one side, you want to do on the other. So I'm going to mimic the same sides. Once you get the hang of this, guys, I can promise you it'll be easier to you. And if you don't want to do it this way, there's other methods that you can use to still recreate this look without having to use hot glue. And what we're going to do is just, again, continue with the pattern all the way up. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please make sure you click on the subscribe button and don't forget about the notification bell. That way YouTube will notify you each and every time I upload anything to my channel. And if you're just stopping by, welcome. Why don't you consider being that one to subscribe to my channel? And welcome to all of my new subscribers again, and to my returning subscribers. And as you can see, we're just going in and out and over and under, I should say. And where I need to glue the rope down, that's what I'm doing. Where I need to continue the pattern where one rope ended, I use glue there and hold it in place with my finger protectors and with the hot glue, and I just keep right on going. And I ended up making this a lot looser than I had planned, but I was like, okay, I need to get this done, because I have so many different things that I'm working on right now, and I need to get all those things done, completed. And as you can see from that little glimpse, It's turning out to be cute. And as you can see, I was getting the rope tangled. Do you guys have any big plans for the rest of the week? I don't. I'm just going to nurse myself back to health because I have a big pop-up shop event I need to attend on the 14th of October, and I need to be better by then. And I have a lot to do to prepare for it. So, yeah, I'm just going to be nursing myself back to health. So I may just do some regular crafting leading up to the pop-up shop on the 14th, and I just may reduce my uploads to one a week just so I can make sure that I've rested. I know how to make time for me now, trust me. And you see I was tugging on it because I was trying to make it tighter. I did allow, you know, some flex in the cord or the rope. Typically, I would have made sure that it was snug fit. But in this situation, I was just trying to get it done. And you see me just tugging and pulling and trying to make sure everything was not so flimsy and all that good kind of stuff. And now I'm going around the very top of the rim where there was a little gap, and I'm using some of that thinner jute twine and wrapping it around like I'm threading it. And as I sit here watching this, I just had an idea. And if you hear any extra noise in the background, I'm going to say, excuse the noise. I am in the bed as I'm doing the voiceover, and my family is doing what they do. So just ignore any extra noise. And as you can see, I am getting ready to create the stem, wrap the stem in this thinner jute twine that I had separated. This is from the original project, number 1. And you see me just flicking the glue off the finger protectors. And now I'm burning the frays off of the rope. When I did this, guys, you see all that smoke? I was like, ooh. It's not a fire. It's just Jocelyn being Joy. As you can see, I'm just holding in that rope that just didn't want to lay flat. And you can see right there at the top where it wasn't as tight. I could have used at least 2 extra ropes in that area, but I just decided to be done. And now I am just adding some florals to the top of this pumpkin wreath, bending the limbs. I did add 2 of the white burlap flowers stickers that you can purchase from the DollarTree. As a matter of fact, all of this whole DIY is a DollarTree DIY with the exception of the beads, which is a part of the Walmart beads that I had purchased at Christmas last year. And now I created another shoestring bow using some of that burnt orange ribbon that you can pick up from the DollarTree just to give this some color. And now I'm using some of that same laced burlap ribbon that you can pick up from the DollarTree. And I think that this is adorable. So now we're moving on to DIY number 4. We're going to make a family tabletop fall decor piece. And so I have one of these little rectangular pieces of wood that you can purchase from the DollarTree. I have some burnt umber paint, and I am just going to use a baby wipe and the wipes came from the DollarTree. And we are going to just use the paint as a stain. And now I'm getting some of that Sisel rope that I purchased from the thrift store and just going to trace the outline of the, I'm gonna call it the wooden plaque with the Sisel rope. Again, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please click on the subscribe button and don't forget about the notification bell. That way YouTube will notify you each and every time I upload anything to my channel. And don't forget to share, comment, and like the video. This also helps the algorithm to recommend my videos to others. And we want to share inspiration, right? And I was actually laughing with my husband. He was up in my crafting area. And now I'm taking and making I'm going to assume a shoestring bow. What am I doing? I can't see, guys. I'm out of frame. Let's see. Oh, I was doing something else for the project that you see lying down. At first I was going to use that for this project, but then I decided to add the word, I think it says family, and then I put one of those maple leaves with the gourd on it. I glued it down, and I will be adding some of that burlap ribbon and making a pocket out of it. Just making this a cute little side table decor stand. It's cute. Very 3D-ish, 4D-ish. And then I decided to, as always, turn it into a pumpkin. This is the season for it, right? And I am just gluing it down. I will be adding some Spanish moss around the edges of it. And you'll notice that I just basically dry brushed over the raw letters of the wood in the word family, and then just the I with the little heart, I did paint that orange. And now I am making a stand. I did place it vertical in the back, and then I had to manipulate it. I didn't have it placed just right. But now we're going to move on to DIY number 5, the wooden utensil fall decor. As you can see, I am painting it using some of that orange paint it is a water-based paint by the Acrylogy brand that you can purchase from the DollarTree. I think this is a very pretty color paint. And now I am using that burnt umber, keeping up with the color scheme here. And I am just going to basically let this act as a stain and apply it to the bottom half of the spoon, as well as the spatula. Both sides are being painted. And then I was going to add this piece, and you saw it earlier, but then I decided that I didn't want to put it on the tabletop decor or side table decor. I actually wanted to put this pumpkin, two-tone pumpkin, on the spoon and spatula set. And I really do think this turned out to be very cute. You see I have a rope hanger. I'm adding some of that maple leaves with some berries. Burning the frays off of the rope. And that is it, guys. That is so cute. It's cute. Now I'm dry brushing a little bit of the white or the ivory color paint. I keep saying ivory. It is Plaster by, it's a chalk paint by Waverly. You pick up from Walmart. And now this is a remake of the wooden pumpkin decor. I had a subscriber to ask me to remake this using even pieces of wood for the back portion so she could see how it would look. And I did tell you all in the comments, if you read the comments, that I would be doing this. I will redo it, but I will decorate it differently. And so what I'm doing is just basically making a stain out of the burnt umber wood, and I will be applying this technique on all 3 pieces of the wood. And yes, this is front and back. If you're still here in this part of the video, please comment. I'm glad fall decor is about over. I'm just picking. Just comment your favorite memory of fall. Is it the leaves turning colors? Is it the coolness of the air? What is your favorite time of fall? What makes fall for you? And as you can see, I'm taking that sisal rope and I am outlining it on these plaques. And I'm just pressing, making sure that the rope is affixed to the board, and adding more glue as needed. And as you can see, I am just using this hot glue to merge these 2 pieces and adding it to the bottom of the oval shape. And I did add too much, so it was seeping out on the sides, so I had to end up trying to clean it up a little bit. And now I'm adding the same sisal rope to the outer edge, and you can not do the next step, but I wanted it to be a little different, and so now you see that I am burning this sisal rope. And if you want to just put the burlap floral sticker in the middle like I did with the other one, you can check out that video. That's the one with 6.7K views. You can do that, or you can do it like this. Just basically make it your own. You see I have used a piece of the branch that I cut as the stem. I am adding some of that Spanish moss around the peduncle or the stem of the pumpkin. And I think it's cute like this, but I'm going to keep going with this color scheme. I am adding some of that burnt orange maple leaves to the sides of the stem, and I've decided to take and make a 3D, 4D piece out of this by adding a branch of the floral maple leaves with the berries on it. And I am just adding more of the maple leaves to the sides to give this more of a fuller feeling. Get it? Fuller. And I did a shoestring bow using some of that thin twine and put it at the top. I am making a using some Spanish moss at the bottom of this, and now I am just dry brushing some of the white over this, feel free to leave this step out if dry brushing or distressing is not your look. But guys, here is the final reveal. Happy fall, y'all. I pray that you have been inspired by my weekly uploads of fall decor. I pray that you all have a blessed fall season. Please take care of yourself and each other, and don't forget to come back by my channel as I will be uploading for the winter and for Christmas in the next 2 weeks. Please join me. I promise you I will continue to bring you inspiration. And if there's nothing else, guys, until the next